Lil Jeff wasn't a demigod after all. Even after claiming 11 bodies, his ops proved to be a strong force as they murdered him in cold blood. For months, the Chicago police had very little luck tracking down Lil Jeff's killer, until recently. Word on the street is that they just got a break in the case. This new footage released spotlights those responsible for Lil Jeff's murder and the planning involved. Here's what we never knew went down. CPD releases new footage of Lil Jeff's murder. It's been several months since Lil Jeff was gunned down, and his killers are still walking free. This has become a common theme in Chicago and other cities dominated by gang violence as authorities struggle to keep up with the growing spate of violence between rival gangs. However, the investigation into Lil Jeff's murder received a much-needed boost when the Chicago Police Department recently released new footage that shows how Lil Jeff was killed. In one of the videos released, Lil Jeff can be seen hopping out of a car and immediately firing multiple shots at a man who appears to be talking to someone inside a silver-colored SUV. The gunshots immediately break the party as the SUV speeds off while the man wearing yellow shorts can be seen running into a nearby building with Lil Jeff still shooting at him while in hot pursuit. But just as Lil Jeff is about to enter the door of the building, multiple shots from inside the building send him falling back through the stairs and onto the front porch. According to the police report, the shooter then stands over Lil Jeff and empties an entire magazine into him as he lay on the floor. While this piece of action isn't captured in the first footage, the sounds of the shots being fired in Jeff can be heard in the second video released by the CPD, which captures a different angle of the shooting. From this angle, two men and the getaway driver can be seen reacting to Lil Jeff getting killed. The video shows a man wearing an all-black outfit trying to catch up with Lil Jeff as he opens fire on his target. A few seconds later, the silver-colored SUV attempts to flee the scene, and a man wearing a red outfit, who is later identified as Lil Jeff's cousin, Q50, can be seen shooting at the vehicle. It is at this point that the shots from inside the building send Jeff tumbling to the ground, and both men can be heard exchanging gunfire with Jeff's shooter. Moments later, the camera captures both men making a hasty retreat with Q50 noticeably running with a limp, signifying that he may have been hit during the shootout. As the men enter the getaway vehicle, the driver quickly steps out of the car and takes one last look at Lil Jeff as his shooter continues to fire shots into the rapper. Once he realizes it was too late to save Jeff, the driver walks back into the car dejectedly before fleeing the scene. However, returned to the scene moments later to carry Lil Jeff's body from the front porch. A photo later surfaced online that showed Q50 and the man in the black outfit carrying Lil Jeff's lifeless body from the murder scene, and they reportedly drove him to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. According to the police scanner recording of the incident, Lil Jeff had a total of 19 bullet wounds, while the man in the yellow shorts got struck on the chest and was also rushed to the hospital where he made a recovery. By the time police arrived at the scene, all the suspects had fled, leaving very few clues behind, including eyewitness reports, the surveillance footage, and the 58 shell casings recovered at the scene, although none of the clips released by the CPD showed the face of Lil Jeff's killer. Days after the shooting, social media went wild with rumors that Lil Jeff was killed by a Trap City gang member named Robert Coleman, aka Trap City Rob. The rumors began spreading after some fans dug up an old video that captured Rob casually sitting outside the house where Lil Jeff was killed. In the clip, Rob can be seen smoking weed out on the front porch of the house. Knowing that it would be too much of a coincidence for Rob to just have been in the house where Jeff was killed years ago, they concluded that Rob must have been the person that shot at Jeff from inside the house. The clip immediately went viral, earning Rob instant fame as fans praised him for stepping up just in time to save his homie from being killed by Jeff. In the months since Jeff was killed, the fanfare surrounding Rob has been unprecedented, with some fans even going as far as crowning him the Defensive Player of the Year in recognition of his heroics. With his newly acquired fame, Rob became the toast of podcasters and social media influencers who sought him out for interviews. During one of the very first interviews that he gave in July 2024, Rob made some revelations that added a new dimension to the already complicated murder case. Apart from confirming that the house where Jeff was killed belonged to his grandmother, Rob also insinuated that he killed Lil Jeff in self-defense. He made the revelation when he was asked if there was anything about the case and the ensuing social media frenzy surrounding the whole situation that he would like to clear up. He answered saying,
I see the videos, I see that shit. I was like, damn, it's 6 niggas out there, you know? It's crazy, bro.
As expected in these types of situations, Rob's play on words has him saying a lot, but at the same time, nothing that could be used against him in a court. However, most people understood that his emphasis on the number of people that attacked his house was him trying to say he had no choice but to defend himself. The fact that he could also give account of the attackers, even if inaccurate, was further proof that he was somewhere around the crime scene. However, as the investigation into the shooting intensified over the next couple of months, everyone began to notice a shift in stance from Trap City City Rob and even his supporters. On various social media platforms, Trap City loyalists began to argue that Rob was not at the scene when the shooting happened in a desperate attempt to save him from getting prosecuted. During an interview on DJU-TV in late 2024, Rob would also play down his involvement in the shooting, slamming the rumors that he was Jeff's killer as bogus claims. This was in response to getting asked about all the attention he had been getting from fans after some fans named him as Lil Jeff's killer. He said,
I just feel like they bogus, man. Whoever started that, man, please stop doing stuff like that. Like, for real, it's like real life, though, you know? So, it's not no video game. It's not no movie, you know what I'm saying? It's reality, so.
Yeah.
Rob went on to mention how he had been getting a lot of love and attention from people when he's walking on the streets, but he maintained that he's not really interested in all of that and would rather just keep things on the regular. Despite the sudden change in stance, Rob was arrested and charged with Lil Jeff's murder around November 2024. According to the court documents from his arrest, law enforcement authorities found probable cause to arrest Rob for Lil Jeff's murder after a witness placed him at the scene of the shooting. The police also claimed that there was additional electronic surveillance that put Rob at the scene of the murder. Nevertheless, the first-degree murder charge was later dropped and replaced with unlawful possession of a handgun, although the police investigations placed Rob at the crime. They weren't able to gather enough evidence to sufficiently prove that he was the one who killed Lil Jeff. With the murder charges dropped, Rob became more emboldened and even started throwing jabs at Lil Jeff and the Bloodhounds. Where he had once claimed that he had nothing to do with the shooting, a recent video that surfaced online shows Rob dissing Lil Jeff and the Bloodhounds. In the video, Rob can be seen in a dimly lit studio, presumably working on a new track. As the video progresses, Rob can be heard sending a warning to his ops while referencing an attack that went terribly wrong. He rapped, "Don't fall, you better not slip. These niggas talking about sliding, I just watched them slip. This shit is not a game, better get a grip. Before we put your ass up in the stats just like a blip." This came after a video showing Rob and other Trap City members celebrating Lil Jeff's death was posted online. In the video, the group could be seen taking a short walk to the house where Lil Jeff was killed, and once they got there, they began a trolling fest that saw multiple Trap City members mockingly depict how Lil Jeff was killed on the front porch. As of November 2024, Rob was still in jail, and a photo recently surfaced online that confirmed that. In the photo, Rob can be seen wearing jail clothes and was all smiles while having a video call with someone. The photo was captured from the video call and was later posted on Instagram with the caption, "Free my backbone" at itraprob678. But while Trap City Rob is getting familiar with his new environment, on the outside, Lil Jeff's name continues to court controversy and was recently linked to another murder. Lil Jeff claims 12th body from the grave. While Lil Jeff was alive, the rapper bragged so much about catching 11 bodies, but recent events suggest that the rapper may just have caught his 12th body before he was killed. Uncharacteristically, Lil Jeff never bragged about this murder, and there are a number of reasons why this happened, which we will get into in a moment. First off, the incident happened just a month before Lil Jeff was killed. The shooting in question took place in the Chatham neighborhood just after 5 p.m. on May 5th, 2024, in the 7900 block of South Cottage Grove Avenue. Surveillance footage at the location captured the incident from two angles. The first shows the moment 4 suspects arrive at the scene in 2 vehicles, and the second angle shows the moment the suspects open fire on 3 men who were standing outside a liquor store. From the first footage, the surveillance camera captures the corner of the store and shows the suspects arriving at the scene in 2 dark-colored SUVs. As soon as the vehicles arrive, a man wearing a black hoodie hops out of the first SUV and can be seen running towards the front of the liquor store. Almost immediately, a second suspect comes out of the same vehicle and follows closely behind, while the remaining 2 suspects come out from the second SUV and join their counterparts. The footage from this particular surveillance camera is limited to only the action sequences that happen at the corner of the liquor store, and a few moments later, all 4 men are seen running back into the vehicles before hurriedly fleeing the scene. The second surveillance footage fills in the blanks as it captures the actual shooting, with the first suspect leading the rest of the group as they fire multiple shots at 3 men standing in front of the liquor store. The first victim was a 25-year-old man, and he was struck in the arm, leg, and foot and was taken to the University of Chicago Medical Center in stable condition. A second victim, 26, suffered a bullet wound to the foot and arrived at Trinity Hospital in good condition. However, the third victim, a 36-year-old man, was the worst hit. He suffered multiple gunshot wounds and was taken to the U of C, where he was pronounced dead. The shooting caused quite a stir within the community, and there was even more drama to come when the victim was later identified as NLMBTY, a known gangbanger. However, despite all the attention attention and media coverage, police have not been able to get any solid leads in tracking the 4 suspects, which has caused the investigations to stall. But things recently sparked back into life when a close-up photo of the first suspect, taken from the surveillance footage, was posted on Reddit, and it showed that he bears a striking resemblance to Lil Jeff. Although the man in the photo had his face covered with a mask, fans were still able to spot similar physical attributes between the man and the late rapper. Some other fans also noted that the Infiniti, which the man hopped out of, was the same vehicle that had been used in a double homicide that happened earlier that year. While commenting on the photo, one user wrote, "Damn, that dude looked like him." Another observed, "He literally wearing the same Lanvins in that iconic pic he got with Lil T, bruh, this nigga was hot." A third commenter added, "Tall, lanky, light-skinned nigga with a Nike Tech and same whip that was used in the infamous Monty and Rob hit, I'm not a rocket scientist." While there's no doubt that the suspect does have similar physical features with Lil Jeff, it would be quite a stretch to conclude that Jeff had something to do with the shooting based on that alone. In fact, another group of fans argue that Lil Jeff couldn't have been the shooter because the Bloodhounds are known to have a smooth relationship with NLMB. One particular user queried, "Why would Lil Jeff kill somebody from NLMB? They're all cool, WTF." Another person said, "Why is everyone just assuming that it's BH and Lil Jeff? They deep ASL on that drill though." Still on the same thread, another fan provided a brief breakdown of the friendship between Bloodhounds and the NLMB crew, while emphasizing that Lil Jeff wasn't involved in this particular shooting. The person quipped, "Everybody who thinks it's Jeff or any Bloodhound members on this drill are not Bloodhound fans FR. If they was, they would know Jeff, and Bloodhounds love No Limit. They clicked up with them in Drench Gang's Shorty Mob. And Ty was NLMB and Drill City. He claimed both hoods." But a few months after the shooting, TMC 600 released a diss track aimed at the Bloodhounds, in which he confirmed that NLMB TY was not the target of the hit, but got caught in the crossfire. He rapped, "TY died in the store all up in a mix." According to reports, TY was caught in the crossfire between BKN and Drill City gangs. Drill City are also known as the Bloodhounds, and since Lil Jeff was one of the most notorious killers for the Bloodhounds, it's not completely inconceivable that he was part of the suspects that carried out the hit. He just never expected that TY would be there, and that may explain why he never bragged about the murder. During his lifetime, Lil Jeff earned a reputation for bragging about his body counts and taking to social media to mock his ops after their deaths. He was so notorious with how far he went when talking about the murders he allegedly committed that British YouTuber Trap Laura Ross dubbed him, as well as Q50, the kings of self-snitching. The YouTuber made the claims during an October 2024 interview on Vlad TV. In the interview, Ross talked about how Lil Jeff and Q50 claimed they had about 20 bodies between them, and how they strangely always updated fans every time they caught a new body. Ross said,
Q50 claims to have 8 bodies. Jeff was claiming 11, but they would update their body counts,
Ross went on to mention how Q50 once hopped on Facebook to tell his followers how he had just caught his 8th body. Lil Jeff also did something similar when he caught his 11th body, as he took to Instagram Live to announce to his followers that his body count had just gone up by 1. The duo were so detailed in their self-snitching that sometimes they would even claim their next body was still pending because the victim was still on live support. In that same interview, Ross also talked about how Lil Jeff bragged about being paid for hits outside Chicago, and specifically mentioned a triple homicide Milwaukee that was linked to Lil Jeff and Q50 because the duo had rapped about taking hits for money in Milwaukee. The incident involved the fatal shooting of 3 men, 26-year-old Anthony Thompson, 39-year-old Tyrese McKinney, and 52-year-old Clarence Harris at an apartment near 54th and Mill Road, Milwaukee on March 27, 2022. The men were shot execution style, and a day after the shooting, police said they had limited information about the shooting because it happened around 2 a.m. when people were still sleeping. Without any witnesses, police struggled to track the shooters and the case has remained unsolved. The only shred of evidence that seemingly points to any suspects are the lyrics from Lil Jeff and Q50's music that hints they may have carried out a hit in Milwaukee. But that's all circumstantial evidence at best, and that would explain why the authorities aren't paying much attention to it. However, while authorities may not have enough to link Jeff to the triple homicide in Milwaukee, he was recently implicated in a double homicide involving 2 high school boys. The famous murder happened in January 2024 and involved the shooting of 2 teenagers, 16-year-old Robert Boston, aka Lil Rob, and 17-year-old Monterio Williams, aka Monty, as they were walking outside Innovations High School. Barely 15 minutes after the shooting, Lil Jeff shared a VD Instagram that showed him in the getaway vehicle alongside 2 other accomplices. In the video, the group were in high spirits as they rapped to a song that depicted masked men riding in a stolen car before getting out and shooting at someone. Shortly after Jeff posted the the video, police received an anonymous tip that named Jeff as one of the suspects and also pointed them to the Instagram video. With the help of an eyewitness, the police were able to identify the two other suspects in the video, Tommy Coleman, aka T Slick, and James Allison, aka J-Mo. The two suspects were arrested earlier this year and have both been charged with 2 felony counts of first-degree murder and 1 count each of attempted first-degree murder, aggravated discharge of a firearm from an occupied vehicle. By the time their sins caught up with them, Lil Jeff had already been killed as a result of a feud with another Chicago street gang. Lil Jeff killed amidst bloody street beef. About 3 weeks after Lil Rob and Monty were killed in front of their school, Lil Jeff released a diss track, in which he claimed responsibility for the double homicide. The track was a viral hit and not only brought Lil Jeff into public view, but also blew his career up by no small measure. But while most new fans of his music saw a talented rapper, behind the scenes, Lil Jeff was a key player in the deadly street feud between 2 Chicago street gangs, Drill City and Trap City. Interestingly, both gangs used to enjoy a very smooth relationship, but all that changed in the beginning of 2023 when Lil Jeff decided to steal a Trap City member's chain. Either the chain must have been really worth a lot, or Trap City had been looking for an excuse to declare war on the Bloodhounds, but they reciprocated the theft by killing Lil Jeff's cousin Zier Nelson. The 22-year-old was killed on March 16, 2023, and according to reports was struck more than 20 times, leaving him with little chance of surviving the attack. Nelson wasn't just Lil Jeff's cousin, but he also shared very strong ties with several Bloodhounds, and his death was seen by them as a direct attack on the gang. Understandably, the brutal killing of his cousin caused Lil Jeff much grief, but it also sent him down a dark road in the quest for revenge. While Nelson's murder was officially ruled as unsolved by the police, the street soon became a war zone as the Bloodhounds, led by Lil Jeff, went on a desperate mission to balance the scales. However, while the Bloodhounds were still deliberating their next move, Trap City struck again, this time targeting another of Lil Jeff's cousins, Q50. Thankfully, he managed to survive the attack, and after getting out of the hospital, Q50 and Lil Jeff took to Instagram Live to rap about the incident. In the video, Q50 starts by rapping, "Nigga shot me in my leg next month, I shot his throat." Lil Jeff then says, "They shot my cousin but ain't kill him for some weeks straight. We was spinning, but the only difference is when she got caught, we killed him." In Q50's verse, he talks about shooting someone in retaliation for getting shot in the leg, and while he may not have had anything to do with the shooting, he was referencing the fatal shooting of 19-year-old Jaleal Goins. Goins was popularly known as Leal within Trap City folds, and he was shot while sitting inside a rideshare on June 25, 2023. According to reports, the shooting occurred shortly after 9 p.m. in the 1300 block of West Taylor Street. The police said Goins was sitting in the rideshare when a man approached the car and shot him through the window before fleeing the scene on foot. The rideshare driver did his best to save Goins, breaking several traffic laws as he drove Goins to Rush University Medical Center, where he was pronounced dead. While recounting the painful ordeal, Smith told Sun Times, "I tried to save him. I didn't care about traffic lights and speed cameras. I really wanted him to survive. I was praying for him the whole way there. When they took them out of the car, I was praying for the surgeons to do what they could do." As law enforcement in Chicago struggled to track down the lone shooter who killed Goins, Lil Jeff, in his usual routine, took to Instagram Live days after the shooting to seemingly claim responsibility for killing Goins. In the video, Jeff can be heard saying, "Go ask my ops that Michael Drake his ass ain't get out that car," while flashing a gun at the camera. But Jeff wasn't done milking everything he could from Goins' death. He took things up a notch when he targeted Trap City Tero in the next round of trolling. It all happened when Tero took to Facebook to mourn the loss of his dear friend by sharing a photo of himself posing alongside Goins. He captioned the picture writing, "I wish I could get it back." Lil Jeff saw this as the perfect opportunity to get one over his ops, and he seized it by dropping a care emoji. It was a simple gesture, but it conveyed the message to Trap City Tero and other Trap City members. Just when everyone thought Lil Jeff had finally moved on from mocking Goins' death, the rapper hopped on Instagram Live on a different occasion, and he once again mocked Goins' death by recreating how the murder went down. In the video, the rapper can be seen creeping up on a white car that is parked at a gas station. When he comes up to the backseat door, Lil Jeff looks through the window as if he is checking for a target. He then takes a step back before proceeding to demonstrate as if he is shooting at the car, using his hands as a makeshift gun. 2 months after Goins was killed, Lil Jeff and Q50 tried to kill another Trap City member when they allegedly shot a man named Glenn 15 times, but he miraculously survived the attack. Q50 would later rap about the incident, claiming that he shot Trap City Glenn 10 times while Jeff shot him 5 times. This failed attack was followed by several months of ceasefire between Bloodhounds and Trap City. It was during this period that Lil Jeff's music career really started to take shape off the back of his hit track, Ah. Despite the fact that his music was now getting the attention that it deserved, Lil Jeff continued to tout his violent lifestyle and would look for trouble at every turn. On June 8, 2024, Lil Jeff, alongside 3 other bloodhounds, including Q50, went into Trap City territory to try and kill Trap City Glenn a second time. However, things didn't go as planned, and Lil Jeff ended up getting gunned down as he desperately chased after Glenn. A violent end to a young life that never embraced the option of peace. Thank you for watching. We've come to the end of this intriguing video. If you enjoyed watching, click on one of the cards displayed on your screen for similar content such as this.